We are live. Let's see whether I still know how any of this works. It's certainly been a while. Maybe it wasn't the best move on my part to be like, oh, there's a heat wave coming up, so if I never stream again, it's because I died, lol, and then not stream again for almost a month. But I survived. I just thought I'd tell you that. And we are finally playing more of the devil, where we are still trying to prove that David Ashur didn't kill himself, and it's not like looking too good, if I may say so. I'm sure we can clutch it somehow. I guess Morgan will, but yeah. Many signs are pointing towards suicide, and I still haven't been able to come up with an alternative theory, so we'll see. Last time, we talked to David's superior, Helen Young, who was actually the last person to see him alive. She was the guest who was drinking with him when he collapsed and called the emergency services. And she certainly seemed convinced that it was suicide, which does give me a bit of hope that it's not going to be that. We also talked to David's boyfriend, or ex-boyfriend I should say, Isaac Porter, who understandably just wants to be left alone because the fact that he broke up with David over the phone a few hours before he died has brought him a lot of unwanted attention. And we also had Sarah, properly registered as our android, learning a bit more about her in the process. And now, I believe, we are very close to starting the the court case, which I'm sure will go well. After the resounding success that was the trial minigame in Deltarune Chapter 5, I'm sure this will be a piece of cake. Walk in the park. I won't embarrass myself at all. Anyway, let's not drag this out any longer. Start episode 1? No, I actually wanted to should this be the... I mean, it's the last save I have, and I believe the 12th was the last day I played this, so... But why does it say start episode 1? No, I don't want to... Where's my save? Hello, where have I... Is it this one? Because I see Emma on the thumbnail. This should be it, right? Yeah, okay, I don't know why I have a save at the start of chapter 1. That is later than... Anyway. We're in the courthouse. Let's pretend that never happened and just continue. Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant up there? Oh, need to get back into the voices. That's the adjutant up there? Is it asleep? It's loading. Oh, hello. No, wait. I think legally it is not necessary for them to look like that, but I appreciate it. It's loading. It needs to load? Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those as saved by the bulk. There's an audience. Ah, you mean the gallery? That's nothing. Could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Ashur's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Reyes alone would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plans. Interns usually. Preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. Yeah, it seems like the legislators didn't really think this one through. If filming is disallowed, but anyone with any modification can enter the courtroom regardless. I don't like taking my face on camera. It makes me nervous, like I have to constantly do funny faces for the audience. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tablet photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way, it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? Will there be minigames? Will we be going surfing? Snowboarding, actually. With all those films you watch, I'd figure that you could extrapolate. I'm asking so as to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they will testify virtually from a separate occasion. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case. What do you do then? Sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response, as long as I have discovery backing me. You've said that before. Discovery means? Just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acted legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that I can verify my investigation. Which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. Well, the jury hasn't sat in an actual courtroom for years, no. They have their own chambers, where they watch a feed of the trial proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and ARCS, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant? Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments, and right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David. Yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD 84 presiding. I call to order the case of the people versus Ashur. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? Interesting eyes. No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this shit show started. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. Get ready for this, bitches. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. Oh, they're sassy, I like that. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So, what gives me the right? Those are some proper queen eyes, I like that a lot. This gorgeous bot. Okay, I think no matter how this trial will end up, I think AD84 can do whatever they want and I will follow. I will not complain. I will not object to anything. No, this is thumbnail material. No, button. Hey, since when was tapped the auto key? Hide UI is H. That's new. Wait, and wasn't escape hide the UI and tab was phone? Anyway, sorry. I guess I can't get a screenshot now. Now, ladies, don't be impressed all at once. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the try without me. They're guilty, or whatever. Okay, Sunlight, I'm not so... Your Honor? Wait, what's Flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Ashur did, in fact, commit suicide. As he... Oh God, what is wrong with them? Mama, I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his wool like a T-bone. I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we could serve the most in need of repairs adjutants in the court system. 1 to 3, the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little paycheck for the kindness. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. Can definitely see the Morikuma influence here. But she's still just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outbursts from the bench, my plan's still workable. So, people, shall we get started with that first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. The Let's Player is advised to remember her voice. No pressure, thank you. It's Yumi. Hey. So how about it, pretty lady? No flirting in the courtroom, please. A man is dead. You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability. I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Ashur, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 AM would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. It's not almost Christmas, it's Christmas. Objection. The defense will have the opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was... Yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't go! Don't get cute with me, counselor. Being cute is my job. God damn, we barely got started. I'm already almost broke. That seemed pretty bad, I don't know. Do you actually suck at this? Making mistakes will increase your blind. Blind is how much credit you lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at and caps out at a higher number if you're playing a high roller, which you aren't. Mind the blind number at the top left when it appears. -1, okay. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. Again, no pressure. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what it means for the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are symptoms? The symptoms, even. The symptoms. There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition was in match those symptoms. Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no 1 to 3. But the subject, whoa, you can hardly tell I'm out of practice. But the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Ashur? Yes, but the tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? Oh dear. Okay. Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still choose advanced text manually with continue. Oh, that's... Okay, I actually have to log in with the voice acting. That's right. You need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Hover over the call button or toggle on Insight to focus on the claim within the statement. Insight can be disabled in settings. I believe he turned that on. Okay, it's a non-stop debate. Testimony will loop until you call. Can't let the chance slip by. You need to catch a mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Whiskey. David's contract. Upright cup. And as I recall, let's look at the evidence again. Whiskey. Whatever. Known to be a brand for everybody to seize, yeah. Alright, it was. And the upright cup was the one. Yeah, that was the one Helen used. Okay. Alright. The subject passed away due to respiratory failure. Okay, at a bit of time. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, then fainting. As the subject was healthy, the respiratory failure must be attributed to a drug overdose. But when a tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. It was puzzling, to say the least. Something she said just now doesn't make sense, and I think I already know what it is. I have evidence that directly contradicts her, so I just need to find the right moment to present it. Okay. Passed away. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen in his blood. He experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, and fainting. I was healthy, the respiratory failure was better to drug overdose. But when a tox screen was run to the hospital, it came back clean. After choosing to call on the statement, you need to respond with evidence. Look over the 3 cards that show up and confirm your card before the time. Oh, okay, there's a timer for this one. Time answer. Well, that would be the whiskey. Wanna bet? It's impossible for David Ashur's tox to be clean, and we all know it. Since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Emma's already not looking too good. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, achievement. And that scared you? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. I know because I told them how to respond. Wait, what? As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Ashur did have alcohol in his blood. But not at such a concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the toxin was clean, I just meant... I didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. I was a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Ashur's respiratory failure? During autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we are going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for the substance, Your Honor. So people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original, scientific, fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. Can we get a different adjutant? Is it late for that? That name is already taken. Didn't you see the Delta Let's Play? Fine, call it Delta, whatever. That's all. I just said. Delta. Used in science to denote an unknown variable, not bad. Well, I thought delta is usually used for a difference. Well, maybe it's different in the 80s. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically, it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? Because you fucking drank it, you idiot. I limited all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. But what if he's someone threw a fire grenade? It was filled with Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please, I didn't listen. Yes, please, I wasn't listening that closely. I like her from a personal standpoint. I just wish our fate wasn't in her hands. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screens showed that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for this unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Is it punishment time? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. Let's see. There we got to see. Died from respiratory failure, unknown substance in blood, yeah. Jung's testimony. Drank with David before he died. Didn't see him add anything, corroborated by camp footage. And yeah. Well, it has to be this because Helen was with him the entire time, on camera. So I mean, the whiskey was also negative for poison, but it could have been added from something else. I'm going with this one. Let's see how much money I lose. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Paul's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta causes respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. Ooh, going blackjack. Every piece of information you learn deals your card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing. Or else, you'll go bust and lose credit. Okay. Select the press option to see what the follow-up question would be. Okay. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 20. I see. Okay. So don't press further if you're already there. And don't ask the wrong questions. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument and hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Let's see. Are you sure it was ingested? Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Are you sure Delta's to blame? But that, I mean, the fire grenade line was supposed to be a joke, but I mean, you could have inhaled it. For instance, it could have been a gas from wherever. Don't know why Helen wasn't affected, but I mean, that it was respiratory failure seems pretty clear from the autopsy, unless there's another cause of death that looks exactly the same. I don't know what else but Delta would be to blame because we haven't detected any other substances, so it was, has to be. Are you sure it was ingested? Dr. Sato, you said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how sure can we actually be about that? temperature? I mean, I go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but I mean, you can check cavities all you want, but if he inhaled the gas either through his nose or his body, I don't know whether there would be any traces of that, you know? I'm going to press on this. And also that here, was it knowingly ingested? But how sure can we be that the subject ingested the delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Will it have been a large amount? Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop. It's the kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes. Calls for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Oh man, I wanted to jump on the case. Well, I'll go back here. Are you sure Delta is to blame? I mean, what? Again, we haven't detected anything else, so if Delta isn't to blame, it would also just be speculation. I don't know what else it could be. What looks like respiratory failure but isn't respiratory failure? I don't know. But I mean, I can't select the same thing again, can I? I mean, that doesn't make sense. We're just going around in circles, but the fact that it's still here as an option makes me... Well, maybe we have to pick it again and then stay instead of press. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's stay this time. Okay, nothing happens then. Well, and try the other options, I guess. Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Well, no, not really. That wasn't. You could argue or speculate about what caused the respiratory failure, but it is, in fact, a fact that he died because his heart and lungs stopped working. Right, thank you for that. Okay, but this option was completely wrong, so now it's gone from the rotation. But what else can we do with this one? Are you sure? Well, you said it's a factor, but how sure can we actually be about that? Pretty sure. Could go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but okay. If we stay, we just loop around back to the beginning. If we press, we just ask whether it was knowingly ingested again, and that's... So what the hell? I mean, let's... There's a lot of options. I'm betting this one will also just increase our blind. Dr. Sato, you were only able to even identify the presence of this delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never before seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant. Ingest enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. I'm going to stay because I don't see what's wrong with that. But then we're back here. So I guess I press. Well, I guess that's the point. Only simulations on a completely unknown substance. I mean, the human body is a bit... Even in the future, I think the human body is a bit too complex to really be sure that the simulation will reflect reality. You've run simulations. So you haven't tested Delta on an actual person? No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do, given our extremely limited sample. Not to mention, highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in that statement, Counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet anyway. Seems like that's... Blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Ashur's death, wouldn't you say? Why don't we find out after the break? I know it hasn't been an hour yet, but I need to take a short break here. I will be right back. And we're back. Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. Your Honor, have us... what's the code? Have us sent to the principal's office and have her expelled. Sent to the principal's office and have her expelled. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. So would this one answer the question? Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If you had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and its respiratory system was weakened. Undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare. It is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. That felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Sitting down wherever I can, however I can, it's just about all I can manage. Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. I need to interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene. I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did I find when I arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called him. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Ashur was declared dead shortly after arriving there. What the hell is this voice I'm doing? That's not right. She is actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand, apart from her voice. I half expected her to roll her eyes during this swearing-in, but when you take into consideration her love for booty authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Ashur became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronic Security Division, we searched the entire building, but we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness' drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Ashur, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it was our determination that David Ashur committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. And upright cup, David's cup. Poison ? Ashur met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared the drinks. Correct. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. Correct, she was on camera the entire time. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. But seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. Just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, the basement. And there was no poison anywhere else. She slipped up there and made a claim she can't actually support it because the cup could have been prepared beforehand by someone else. I think last time I brought up the comparison to Raincoat Chapter 2. Spoilers for Raincoat Chapter 2. All I need to do is point it out, and then I get to watch her self-destruct, which would be fun. Ashur went with here. Good night. He's the one who prepared the drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to slip on something. He drank from a cup that he himself isn't. Oh fuck. I forgot there's a time limit. Oh god, I didn't think about that. Okay, let's look at our evidence before this time. Well, let's see, it's both cups. A plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey left in it, found upright on the dining table to smooth the crime. Saliva and fingerprints match Helen Young, contains no traces of food. Okay. Down David's cup. The plastic cup that David Ashur was drinking from before he died. Forensic analysis. Oh, right. Wait, wasn't there? Forensic analysis shows matches for his fingerprints and saliva, but toxicology tests have proven inconclusive. Too much of the whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. But wasn't there something with unknown fingerprints on? What was that? What is the glass in the sink? Okay, it had Helen Young's fingerprints. Okay. And the last is the poison. An unidentified substance found in the bloodstream of David Ashur after his death has many similarities to the chemical makeup of a depressant drug. No additional traces found anywhere at the crime scene on David's penthouse. Okay, no, I don't actually know, because I think that's a point that's wrong. But how would the evidence we have corroborate that? I guess the fact that the tox test couldn't prove anything conclusively. That's right, because Helen's cup doesn't make any sense. Okay, sorry, Morgan, I'm embarrassing you in front of your crush. I'll be better. Which is to say, let's train of thought. Let me find it for you. I'm so sorry, Morgan. Okay, still get used to the mechanics. Back on track. Definitely, Yona. Okay, upright cup, David's cup, poison, okay. Ashur went with the witness. He's one who repaired the drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to have himself. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned, and this time... No, that's wrong. You can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows the tests of Dr. Ashur's cup were inconclusive. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was, in fact, poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Unlike the Let's Player. Does it resolve, or do you have a response, dear Rockford? Testing on the deceased's cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Ashur alone. Not at this time, but that's a funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense. As we all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. What are you playing? Deltarune Chapter 5. Have you heard about that? No, never. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent... Want to try that again, Morgan? Yes. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby. Fire away. Baby. Reyes' testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focus on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happened. Let's see. Anyone else in the building ever seen poisoning himself? Could he have been poisoned off camera? Well, that's a good point, because he wasn't on camera the entire time. Helen was, but he wasn't. Detective, isn't it possible that Dr. Ashur was poisoned off camera? Possible? I don't know where else it would have been done. But that just goes to show it had to have been suicide. The only time he was off camera, he was all by himself. Shit, that's not where I wanted to get the conversation. And might certainly seem that way, yes. I mean, yeah, because it happened off camera, we can't actually see it. I mean, it could have been an accident for all we know. Like, I don't know, something could have dropped into the cup without David noticing, and since it wasn't caught on camera, we never know. That's right, because the fact that she brought up that there was no one else makes you think that they are absolutely positive there was no one else in the building. Because otherwise, I mean, they have all security they want in there. Let's try this one cautiously. I'm at -7 already. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly from the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Ashur adding anything to his drink that night? No. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured. In that case, the next questions need to be when and what. Say, Detective Reyes, during the course of the investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or pub? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about in his lab, his bedroom, his basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of the penthouse. Right. They never found any poison. No poison at all. But then where did the Delta come from? Unless David brought it with him from outside in exactly the quantity he needed to put in his cup. Let's present it. What about a poison container? At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials, eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Well, do we just continue with this one or? I mean, we should pass on that point, right? Wouldn't we? Because, as I said, if it was found anywhere in the building, and we assume he did poison himself, he would have needed to bring the poison with him, and if it was a liquid, he couldn't just carry it in his hands. But okay, guess I'll stay on that one. I'm already at 19. Okay, but nothing happens if I... Like, the fact that it's fucking blinking and this is a different color makes me... God, I'm so bad at this. Okay, but... Yep, but if I press, it's just the same thing again, isn't it? Okay, let's ask whether there was anyone else in the building. The only people you saw on the cameras that night were Dr. Ashur and his witness, correct? There was no footage in the house of anyone else. Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night, because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past its front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them was there that day. What if it was done on a different day? But now I'm scared, now I don't want to press. Let's stay for now. Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. Also, I'm already at 21, so... What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring? That's what I said, but the game said it was the wrong answer. This between Shoot and Order, Justice episode, Justice Arc, whatever, Justice Root, and Deltarune Chapter 5 with blue and yellow and now this. I'm starting to think detective games maybe aren't for me, because I can never tell what the game wants from me. Like, I think I have a lead, and I pick the option that corresponds the closest with that, but then the game says, no, it's actually something completely different. Oh, Danganronpa 2x2 is going to be fun, isn't it? Looking forward to that. Also, I said I would be playing Zero Escape on this channel at some point as well. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. What did I get myself into? Blackjack, somehow. What do you mean, procure? Procure? Yeah, I can't even say it, that's not a real word. Where did it come from, detectives? The poison that you sold sure was dissolved in the drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand? It had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated. All of it? Only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask me to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Ashur committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. Then I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Ashur was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Is this where the manufacturing device, element nanomachine creator comes in? Ah, shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Ashur's laboratory. Sold under the product name Manufacturer. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Well, very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Ashur was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the Ender can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical is hard to decide, really. You think random mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the manufacturer to make unlicensed drugs does go against the terms and conditions. So Dr. Ashur's warranty is certainly null and void. But I can't hard-code the machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Ashur died when his respiratory system failed because of a present overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute, at the touch of a button. Specifically, preset 19. Oh, she's good. Oh, she's good. Damn! I think it's time to pick it up. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing at Emma's hands the entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps you could take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Maybe in some form of comic book. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. Time for the closing argument. We know that Dr. Ashur left. Dr. Ashur, 1, 2, 3. We know that Dr. Ashur left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups to drink for. The camera showed him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, Counselor? No, that all seemed accurate. Not at this time, no. The timeline you prescribed is accurate, as we know it. As you said. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Ashur could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup. By placing it inside the manufacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Oh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here, no? I've kind of got somewhere I need to be. Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? I don't know, I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, Counselor. Are we done here? I mean, I want to raise, obviously, but I don't know what. Does the manufacturer have an operation log? Does it say when it was last used and for what? I think if it did, Emma wouldn't be raising this point unless she already checked and it in fact did. But that would be the nail in the coffin for our not suicide theory. But I also don't know what else. And of course, if it doesn't have a log, then we can't prove anything from that. I don't know. I think I have to stay this one. Emma's argument is foolproof. Emma's argument is missing something. Oh, what could it be missing? He left the parlor for 4 minutes. He came back with whiskey in 2 cups. Wait, no. Because he could have made the substance and put it in his own cup, and then I would have mixed with the whiskey when he poured it in. I don't know. I'm sorry, Morgan, I don't have anything. Look at it. Let's read more about the manufacturer again, if we can find it. Or was that not here? Was that in the articles we have? Oh, manufacturer. A machine capable of assembling organic or inorganic compounds and even nanomachines after just 2 minutes of vacuum-sealed mixing. What at Noble's factory's show floor as well as inside David Ashur's personal lab. Presets on David's model's history exist for a compound identical to the substance found in his bloodstream after his death. And an unidentified substance found in the bloodstream of Dr. David Ashur after his death. As many. I don't remember exactly what it was made of, but it was like. I think there were metals in there. I don't know. I mean, and it's obviously an organic compound the way it looks. I don't have anything. Maybe we'll have to give it this one. The people's argument more or less paints a complete picture. Very big of you to admit it. So are we done here? Is what I would say if they'd established motive already. Smooth recovery, hadn't I? Alright, I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. There's totally not any TV shows I want to catch. This is a preliminary hearing, Counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so... Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know? So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court, is she now going to break up Porter? Oh, no evidence. Gimme. Yep. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to present it here now, then the content must be relevant, Your Honor? Yeah, that. What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool, we can play back. Oh, David Ashur voice. I also need to remember Isaac's. Hello? Always soft spoken. Isaac? You there? Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Oh no, guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Does it say? Oh yeah, it says cookie on his phone. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, how you've been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did. That's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. Well, what do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Yeah. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... No, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac. Just forget it, man. Forget it, Cold. Forget it all, yeah. Let's just forget we were anything but strangers. That's all we are now, anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted. I know. No, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh. Okay. So, do you need anything, or should I? This sucks. I wish Sarah didn't have to hear this. Oh boy. Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Ashur's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended, for quality assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone, Will. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time. It's the last time I let someone. It's the last time. Also. It might just be a call, but it makes pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? Got them bedroom eyes. Can't stand it. Oh, that was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean it's just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Ashur died, Isaac Porter ended the relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Ashur was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add. I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and end-brain protesters, but pitying me here and now? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for Me to call my first witness, no? You wanna keep going? They're dead. What are you doing, Counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid, slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Darling, thank you for coming here today. Well, of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Starling's the only player I have right now, the only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. This is not going well, Morgan. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive is about 60% encrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall it long. If I talk real slow, which is going to be a real challenge with this Let's Player, constantly stumbles over her words. Basically can't talk any slower. What? I'd like to ask a few questions about Dr. Ashur. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Ashur was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Ashur's work set a bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Whatever threats that people ever express and intend to harm him? Objection, call for speculation. Intent. I feel like that's gonna be sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Ashur was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized, or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he had developed. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance. Whether or not people wanted to kill him. Well... withdrawn. Miss Starling. People would attempt to contact him, yes. But the messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes. But I'll just send those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing it on the record. Eesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have had contact with David Ashur in years. The police take harassment very seriously. At least, if you're rich. Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Ashur for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed a relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I'd like to think he knew he could talk to me, but... Did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge anyone else, about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with a mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Ashur has done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Oh, sorry. Clearing my throat again. Maybe I shouldn't have done this today. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered. Stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court of this proof in this matter. Juicy. And that matter specifically are you referring? What matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondences that describe. If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. We can't give permission if he's already dead, and we are well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing! I didn't honestly expect to stop him from admitting the evidence into the record, but I was hoping to at least slower. Where are you on that footage? 77%? Approximately? I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Ashur and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year. Along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Platinum? I don't intend to air all of Dr. Ashur's secrets here in the court. Okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress Dr. David Ashur was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit him into evidence, assuming there are no objections. Oh. Is this not something strange about his evidence? I mean, it isn't. I would have access to it. It would have been recorded. Let's stay. Object? No, I don't. Except what she said. No, I do object. That is the first time here. On the ground of foundation. Where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. Fuck, why didn't I check that? She pointed it out. Why didn't I? I thought about it. I wanted to check what insurance plan he had, and I didn't. Why did? Doing this Let's Playing thing for almost a year has given me a new appreciation for the Game Grumps. Everyone always clowns on Aaron for not being able to read and stuff like that, but it's so fucking hard to think and read out loud, especially at the same time. Like, maybe if you've noticed doing it, be it Deltarune or Shoot an Order, I read the dialogue, I voice it and all that, but I rarely react to anything because my brain is too occupied with the reading part to actually connect it to anything and to make comments of on something. It's really difficult. That's all I'm saying. But I guess it's worth it if it gets me through my Steam backlog and helps with my English pronunciation and social anxiety, I guess. Anyway. Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. This is easy to explain. David had an executive plan that no one managed for him. And he was also seeing a psychiatrist, both in person and over the phone. The own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own. Even if only to keep one thing out of Nova's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but it doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide his psychiatrist from Nobel spying? No, he was smarter than that. Oh, let's see what we have. Young says someone drank it there, we died, didn't see anyone. Financial value. Building took a month no. Let me check. Where is it? Got calls? All phone calls received or made from inside the Noble Executive Apartment building that David Ashur lived in are automatically intercepted and recorded by the building's security system. This is common knowledge among all. No. Yeah, if he was seeing the psychiatrist over the phone, it would have been recorded. And no one would know about it either way. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who would have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. That's... David Ashur was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, Counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult too. Right. What the... Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to model the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. And I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Please put away the switch. What? If the markets were to open Monday with people believing that David Ashur, the man who programmed the brain of every Noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months. Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest. There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, Counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Ashur was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also a personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, Counselor. Now we're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question. All because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know. That is... I'm sorry, but like... Did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. With all my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot over any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, Counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count. So what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because... Miss Starling, we all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Ashur last night. So please tell us, when exactly did he last... Let me think. Actually, don't let me think. Let me check my evidence. No, not that one. Which one is this? Oh, okay, yeah, this is... okay, I know, I thought we had information when the two last saw each other, but I guess not. Damn contract. Okay, we don't have that. When did he last? Which one of these would matter? I suppose contact you, but seeing and meeting are just more specific forms of contacting. Why would it matter if he met her at the HQ? Maybe I will take a short break here and think about it during that and hopefully come up with an answer. Are you right back? And we're back. I'm totally not stalling for time. Do we really not have any notes of what Jessica told us before we arrived at Noble? I mean, wouldn't be in the profiles. Wouldn't be in the articles. don't know. I don't know what the significance of any of these would be. Let's go with contact. I don't know. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Ashur, Miss Darling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We text back and forth. There are records of some checks, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? Yes. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? I just got chills. Don't know either. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical. Especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Oh dear. Select and place cards from your hand onto the slots in chronological order, left to right. You can pick a card back up and place it in another slot if you change your mind, or use your turn to undo the last card you placed down. Well, all the slots will submit your answer. Okay, let's see. When did Isaac call? 6:30. There we have things after that. Wait. Jess texted with him after Isaac broke up with him. So she would know what kind of state of mind he was in. Yeah, so first Isaac calls, then the last text between Jess and David is sent. Then, wait, when did I start? When did I start ringing? Yeah, I better check that to make sure. With things. No, that's not the story I wanted. It was witnesses' testimony. Jung arrived at, yeah, okay, at 7:30. Yeah, okay. And starting 6 was it? Yeah. So all this happened before Jung arrived. And of course, David passing out is the last thing that happens. Do I need to make my money back. Should I up the ante a bit? Because I'm pretty sure this is correct. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Ashur broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to the timing of events, but we do question Councillor Wong's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Ashur? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you set up as the Android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Ashur didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance? He, well, actually, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended was to have that much trouble getting to. Oh. Oh! To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night. Yeah, you're right. That's, Your Honor, if David Ashur was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think that people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? That's... Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow it. Sounds like an opening to me. If he assumed that Dr. Ashur... 1, 2, 3. If he assumed that Dr. Ashur was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that the Delta must have come from its manufacturer, from inside the house. I don't know. Not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the manufacturer. I don't know. Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford. I've gained access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you wanted to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky part of it to path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it, upload it to the court computer. Yes, Arne. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Would Your Honor please wake up? Your Honor. I'm awake, and I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence. New security footage. The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the Penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit built in the deceased's own home system. You... what? The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Ashur's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera. Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the manufacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38. Meaning, he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means a bust. So, better to be the Joker who dances. The data has been added into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Ashur entered the basement. Yes, Adonai, I'll search for it now. Here. On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There. David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River. And leaving. At 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there a sound? Not at all. Keep going. If you had to go back to get the cups. Counselor. What's that android doing on camera? That is an excellent question. Hey, Sarah. It's at the bar. Well, I guess the good news is he didn't kill himself. The android gave him the cups. Oh, shit. Shit! That machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Fat! What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. But please, someone... I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have colors available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please. Please tell me what I'm... That's an order. And I suppose if Sarah really did it and doesn't remember it anymore, it's because David would have deleted that part of her memory. And he would only do that if he was also the one who instructed her to do it. And since Sarah is an object and not a person, this is still suicide. If all of that holds true. I should probably make a save. Oh, we can clutch this. We can still clutch this. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's Your Honor. In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw the charges against Dr. Ashur and end this preliminary hearing. I guess not. It has been made abundantly clear that David Ashur did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan. Yay, chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. All they have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. I suppose there's no proof, but someone else could have been manipulated the android after David died. Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. Mission accomplished. That's what we wanted to do in this stream. And in the process, I proved that this android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot. A true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming on such 1, 2, 3. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Oh dear, new voice. As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trial so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away on the police station of the poor bureaucrats? Actually, do we have a profile? Oh, what do they have? 80s. Well, let's check Boris first. Number 26, 169. Superior judge of the higher circuit, likes air conditioning, espresso, reclining chairs, dislikes parking lots, noise pollution, and mud. Avoids overspending on restaurants, splurges on expensive hotels. Interesting. Relaxes by watching action movies. And 8084. Born September 22nd, 260th. Ooh. She is very tall. Likes raw salmon, running water, and gymnastics. Dislikes criminals, contrarians, pigeons. Sign Libra, self-signed. So I guess the date of birth also self-assigned in that case. Is that on a second Libra? I don't know. Type: open, obedient, observant, people. Okay. Okay. Hey Sarah, you found someone who would answer your 3 sizes. 109 bust, 64 waist, 94 hips. Okay. And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Councillor Morgan? You're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do exactly? Torture an animal? Shot in a hospital? Crash a coin market? We have it on camera poisoning a man. Killing its creator. You mean Dr. Ashur? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277-A. Docket number YT984318282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? YT984318282. I think I lost you after the first 8. Oh, I will copy it here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3422 Celsius for 30 minutes. Sorry, Spearman. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Not Spearman. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces I get that hot? Of course, there are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Mo. I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life that's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbooks, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. Do you remember that scene we had where Morgan was thinking back to the moment of her birth, and it was just people crying for help and calling someone a monster who should never have been born and all that. And if anyone's to blame, it's no one's blaming you, counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I am talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah, whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault necessarily. If it were up to me, you get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you were. It was stupid, of course, and futile, and pointless, spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone, watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché and ill. Yeah, I thought as much. Watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take a root and grow despite knowing it had nothing to feed on. Stupid. Morgan? What was that, counselor? I said objection. Perhaps you couldn't hear me because it wasn't on screen. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand that you've been through a lot part of these past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android Sarah is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All through and no laws broken on your part. What if Sarah didn't know what she was putting in there? Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try and trap me on this. Oh dear, what are you? What are we doing? David Scott. Found knocked over, drink by David, tested inclusive. Okay. Sarah's papers. Proves ownership of Sarah found inside panic room. A recent handgun, a recent purchase more bugged at a picnic. David's contract describes David's employment and viable offenses like fraud. Let's check Sarah's papers real quick. A written document declaring that eventually Morgan is to be given absolute ownership of the android Sarah effective immediately. And dated back 2 weeks. Oh! Which means even if she didn't know, Morgan was the legal owner of Sarah when this crime occurred. Oh, yeah, You do have to defend yourselves. It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I am the legal owner of the android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is... Self-defeating. Listen to yourself, counselor. You claim that Sarah's just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes. And yet here you are, risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction? Other than feelings of personal attachment? Well... we also know that Sarah is worth quite a lot of zeros. I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number. What are you... What's that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. What does the text say? Is that lorem ipsum? Because kind of looks like a lot of pseudo-Latin. It's kind of hard to read mirrored. Anyway, you've got to be... I got it from the insurance elevation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market. So I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads, spiraling into appeal after appeal over the media. This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure thwarted. Don't be cute, I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court. But it'll be one day, tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Ashur. No. Prove that it couldn't have killed him. And as soon as an absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll ever nailed. Yes, Your Honor. Dear Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now, I need to go lay down. Can I come? You can power down. Oh boy. I guess this explains the thing about resetting each new day. Hey Morgan, how are you doing? Morgan? Huh? I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water. That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like a boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walk up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David. Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's also moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you will hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I got up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realize. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit no matter what. Well, it looks like we're going back to our good friends at precinct 254. After the break, and it's going to be a bit of a longer break because I need to eat something. I'll see you in a bit. And we're back. Maybe I should get more than one song to play during breaks if they're going to be this long. But I've thought about something. So we found Sarah in the password bracket vault, which means if she previously was sending cups to David, someone must have put her there. Or rather, someone must have told her to go there, because, I mean, if we assume David did it, obviously he couldn't have done it himself because he was dead. But he could have told Sarah that, or instructed her beforehand to commit the murder and then go back into the alcove and then delete her memory. In which case, this would be a suicide. Sarah could have decided to do this herself to, I don't know, clear conscience or something, so she doesn't remember the crime she committed. In which case, Sarah is the culprit. We are hopefully trying to prove that a third party did it. But how would that third party have gotten this kind of access to Sarah? Because if we assume that because unless this third party also knew the password to the vault, they couldn't have accessed Sarah. But I guess Sarah could have been programmed beforehand by the third party, including the instructions to go back into the alcove and delete her memory before anything of this happened. I guess that can still work, because there's no limit to how far in advance you can give instructions. But still, it would have been someone who was able to give Sarah instructions, be it through verbal commands, which she would have needed to listen to, and if her conversations with Morgan are any indication, she has a lot of control over which commands she obeys and which not. Or through programming somehow. Which of course would implicate people at the company, because they'd have the most knowledge about that, but yeah, let's see. Okay. We arrive at the precinct. So is the door locked? Oh, yeah, of course. Even though they've got a collar, it's a precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. So as long as the door is locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? The high-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just a two of us here, you don't have to mind their ego. No, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I don't be even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who'll be at the center of a bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're gonna go after Noble? Break the monopoly? I think they want to take the monopoly. Nationalize the energy industry? If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they're gonna ask for better excuse. You're joking, it's the state. There's done plenty of times before. Not since the 60s, which was not long ago for me. For the state, especially yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do generally want to incinerate this thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a court computer, see what has attendance or not? Pop the hood, as we say? Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. Do you figure anything that an AI connects to they can't trust? Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack, just a really strong electromagnet held in place with lock and key. Even so. Feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors. Yeah, got a bunch back in storage. Ocular heart rate, perspiration, brain scan, take a pick. You're not gonna try and use one of those on the board, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around. The DA's office never asks for them, do they? Nope. No, we got perp to take a test when they're at the wit's end, but the DA's never submitted results as evidence. You ever wonder why? Probably because they're all bullshit. Because I always figured it was because the test could be beaten. The test can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000, it can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. I wouldn't know anything about that. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they're gonna run the trial, shoot the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I am sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze Sarah. But your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it is an AI, if it is an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test, or hack the device, fool the expert. All of fancy 21st century tech, and we still fall back into the drumhead or court-martial. So, am I gonna set up any alarms if I go and turn it on? No, I should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole inside. Might take more than one shot to... Wait, what? From outside? You're not coming in and need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. Then it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do. Including a reasonable expectation of privacy. At a police station, you don't. It's my medical android. Pardon? Hear that, London? That's the Fidget Tubby's music, which means you're going to get your ass read. I have to discuss a health issue with it. Ass read. Read. That horse, I know, it's really annoying that read and read are written the same way. Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in. That's a medical android, like your nurse? As of last night, I was already spotters. I had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on mad confidentiality. Only don't seem like the bluffing top. Good one. You must know a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain. You might be going through. What I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just for the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know. Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small, 100. Heavy as hell, nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or potentially in this case, a machine built to kill. I don't like this room, I'm not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's a lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you this? When I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? Where am I? No. What? Why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage. Did this numbness around my neck? Father. What happened? What are they going to do to me? There's a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed Father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. 2 apples tall. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die? Well, I mean, it's both of these. I'm not sure I buy either of them. Let's go with this. There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it, but whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better research and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of it. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great, now then. What's the difference between you and the vacuum board we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, aren't I? But the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think, so you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes. So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make this stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you. That is, I am more aware, do you feel more pain in the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the shrimps you test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking you to sit anywhere. Only to exist. The very fact that you're asking is what makes people disgusted. Disgust is a reflex, aren't I? How convenient that I hate it is involuntary. That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Well, obviously, it's my nexus if that's on the line. Don't I? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI. It's just like the devil's proof. No, that's a different thing. And why did you say it like that in color? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David. By proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering. The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. You told me you weren't active on Friday. That's the last time you were active was Thursday. Why'd you lie? I didn't lie, I was just incorrect. Didn't you say so yourself? Androids don't lie, they make mistakes. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday, because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah. What do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget Adonai, I am an android. You're saying your memory was altered, data deleted. It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage. So, who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating. Resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons, another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me. He could have asked you to delete your memories, and you do it. Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never have it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid to request a power grid and fire all the nukes they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You finally started to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm father. Don't you at least need to prove that I had a motive? Yeah. About that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford? That tired looking pretty lady? Yes, exactly. Yeah, she looked tired. And nothing else. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. Password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later, you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father Schörner? You remember something? Not from yesterday. I've seen it with him many times before. But I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. We were playful about it. He let you tease me, and I've always liked trying to find it. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realize, stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought were holding it back. Where its words muttered like a prayer by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. And that translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein killed its creator, easy to say. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, and the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster, who didn't need to be destroyed because it set itself on fire on an iceberg. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. Was it a Brian David Gilbert reference? Yes. It is a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I love... Yeah, see, that right there. That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. Among us, what? I could prove you didn't murder David without any shadow of a doubt, even bring a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on a stand and convinced the court that you love your creator, you really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know what I feel is real or stimulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? I I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he had already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use a manufacturer? Could you have made a delta with it? I've used it before when assisting father. So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate a company in Sarah's creation... no. They're the ones with the most to lose here, trillions probably. They want to protect themselves, but they're wrong David as fast as possible. Right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also don't want to show their belly to the state, not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure, on guard. But not... I don't know. What would happen if I did kill father? Smash it to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. You will be shut off forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now I gotta get moving. Here's your parody lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap. You didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Arunai. Thank you for defending my father. And now, for defending me. You could have just let him destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend. Don't get twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Back in the basement, and I think we should look at some terms you collected over time. Let's learn about color. A restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit the use of mods throughout the body. I see. While colors appear technologically advanced from the outside, designers' concerns about hacking vulnerabilities and the growing complexity of consumer-grade mods led them to opt for a surprisingly simple method of restraint. Collars contain a specially designed electromagnet that, once clasped around the neck, interferes with spinal neural transmission, preventing mod users from sending commands to any opponent tech below the neck. Powerful, simple, and cost-effective, collar use is widespread among law enforcement, military, and private security organizations. With the onset of above-the-neck modding in recent years, the continued relevance of collars as means of meaningfully inhibiting various mod usage has been called into question. Newer designs have been proposed that utilize microneedle clusters, but concerns about the sanitary upkeep required for such invasive restraints has stymied product development cycles. What is a devil's proof? Probatio diabolica, Latin for devil's proof, is an impossible proof typically illustrated with the following example. One can prove that the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing out to his absence. I see. The issue posed by this age-old concept explains why the burden of proof remains with the state to this day. The people can prove an individual's guilt by pointing to their bloody hands, but the defense cannot prove their innocence by showing their hands are clean. Since only one of these tasks is achievable, the judicial system cannot ask the defense to prove innocence, and instead it is the people who are up for tasks of proving guilt. You should also frequently search for which is real. Also, didn't I want to change for different phone charm. Where? There. But because I also bought the... oh, hello. Didn't I buy another? I bought the French charm, yeah. Didn't I buy a second charm? I wanted to switch them out. Right, it's the Reyes Engie charm. That was one. Seems appropriate for the situation. Just walk onto a crime scene with a chibi version of the detective in charge dangling from your phone. So, detective. Morning, detective. Back at it nice and early. Hi. Now would you stand back? I almost got the thing open, right? Trying to brute force your way inside? I said, right. Oh, yes, ma'am. I was set up for the first stage now. First stage for many. With a 5-type explosions. Remember, we need to relink the API after each figure is planted. Yep, just did it, and I was checking for updates. No rush. Would you like to know the password? Do you know the password? There's a password? If you're withholding information, I swear, relax. I want to get in there just as much as you do, detective. I'm not going to play games. As long as you say please. Tell me the password. Please. You know we have to. It's S-U-N S-U-N-S-H-I-N-E. Lady, I will hit you. A-D-O-N-A-I. Thanks. Now I'm gonna slap you with a discovery fine to have your teeth ring for. Hey, I submitted all my paperwork. Even told Rockford the password myself. So boys, when I asked you if there was a passkey on record and you told me this lock couldn't be bypassed, I don't want to say that we really don't get many opportunities to use that Sanyo breaching system. So it was still a really valuable experience for all of us. I'm gonna phrase this as professionally as possible. Which is why we can't show it in the game. Because it's so stupid professional. You're still here? I thought you wanted to look inside. You can go first. Thanks. So, the gloves or the black, that's not a work thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends too? You should cover your mouth when you yawn. Like you cover your eye when you want to look cool. I should let it get to me, but I had a late night. Emma and I went to the courthouse until well into the morning, pouring all the data Sarah had taken off David's computer. We both knew it all to be inadmissible, of course, but neither of us wanted to miss a hint that the other might find. There were a few years worth of camera footage files we couldn't afford the time to watch, let alone decrypt. Alongside thousands of technical documents detailing David's various intellectual properties. So as I could tell, none of it was relevant, let alone compelling enough to matter to Barrows or the other powers that be. As usual, Emma wasn't exactly an open book. But it did seem like she was making bored yawns, not thoughtful ones. Her eyes only ever lit up when she saw Sarah enter the panic room. And when she saw what she was holding when she left. If she wanted this room searched, it could only be for... So where's this journal supposed to be? Rockford didn't say. I just have to search the place top to bottom. Mostly bottom with your eye to the tops of some of these shelves. Sure. And you can look up your own app. I get it. Then why not just let me say it? Chess. A toy car? No, it's so detailed. And boring. Must be a kind of model kit or replica. Strange. David didn't like driving. Why keep a model of some random sports car? Now I'm being calling the throat detective. It's not some random sports car, it's a Lawrence Adamant. But believe it or not, I'm not a familiar detective. It's the last great fossil automotive experience the world will ever see. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.43 seconds. They set the records without computational assistance. Is that a big deal? It was unheard of even back in the 50s. This wasn't some design competition test car with a 2-liter tank, mind you. This was a vehicle you could own and drive. Human engineering, pure horsepower, and manual transmissions, thank God. When I first left the production line, conversations like quicksand, killing me in the most boring way possible. Yes, well, I guess David didn't entirely agree with you since you're looking at a model of it. When you could have easily have just bought one. Or maybe your friend understood that a beauty like that deserves to be driven on streets where people can see it, instead of gathering dust in a rich guy's basement. I think she's actually upset. Are these drawers or just panels? Maybe if I... Does that sound hollow to you? What? I don't know, I'm not a carpenter. I don't see any handles anywhere. No hidden pressure plates or switches. What the hell am I saying? I'm not a carpenter either. I wouldn't recognize the secret button if it was slathered in nail paint. Oh, another article down there. This data pad is displaying a news article from last week. Guess it confirms that he was coming and going here fairly regularly. Right to repair loses latest appeal. Well, isn't that nice? A higher court judge this week shot down for the 5th time an appeal by the Consumer Rights Alliance on their famously divisive right to repair lawsuit, once again signaling the state's intent that corporations remain in control of their legally protected intellectual property. Obviously, we're disappointed, said Miles Erkman, head of legal. Your name is Erkman, head of legal counsel for the CRA, but we have no intention of giving up the fight. People used to be able to fix things when they broke, so long as they were willing to set aside an afternoon towards the task. Now, trying to pitch up your own property with your own tools is a finable offense, just because the state has had lobbyists whispering in its ears for far too long. Erkman's legal strategy remains contentious and in the eyes of most legal scholars generally unfounded. The Emergency Industry Acquisitions Act, passed in 2057, guarantees the holder of any intellectual property patent certain state-provided protections against tampering and reproduction, and outlines fees for those who would violate said IP. The fact that ownership of IPs has shifted from individuals and a state towards corporate identities since the Act's passing means little in the eyes of the law. If Mr. Erkman and his CRA have a problem with intellectual property law, they should check it up with their representatives and the legislators. Wow. Calm down, child. You just need to speak English into the microphone. You can do this. You do it during meetings every week. If Mr. Erkman and the CRA have a problem with intellectual property law, they should take it up with their representatives in the legislature. The higher courts are a place for laws to apply, not be written, and so long as journalism that refuses to buckle to foreign actors trying to stoke anti-capitalist sentiment can't be found just anywhere. Subscribe now with a link below to read articles like this every day, forever, as long as your card remains on file. I would rather kill myself. Right to repair. Didn't realize anyone was still fighting that particular fight. Seems like the courts have made their opinion on the matter very clear, so for the foreseeable future, corporations can look forward to more. Well, sales are never as a consequence, but... Well... I mean, both, right? I mean... Oh wait, do they mean lawsuits against the company? Because in that case, it obviously sales. thought they meant lawsuits against individual people who are trying to repair the stuff, but no. But I'm not stupid. I got something right this episode. Only 3 hours in. More sales than ever. Any phone that gets scratched, every widget that breaks, they get to sell as a replacement. There'll always be a grey market of firms willing to risk some skin on reselling pet shop tech, but the vast majority of people will just click that purchase button, assuming they don't just have it on auto. Reyes is searching the cabinets now, saying once I found Sarah's papers in. I thought I missed anything, but... Hey, what are you... Do you mind? Just trying to help. I've got spam in my junk folder that's more helpful than you are. Didn't spot anything that I missed yesterday among the cabinets. Better check elsewhere. Sarah should have put everything of note off the computer, but I've looked everywhere else already. Might as well try. What do you expect me to find? Solitaire. Space pinball, actually. Does the computer seem normal to you? Exceedingly so. Yeah, why? David was a programmer, but it looks consumer grade, fresh off the shelf. Would the Dr. David Ashur use a box standard operating system on his most private hidden computer? Not even Linux Mint? Fucking Ubuntu? There's a trash bin on the desktop. It's a pretty low-tech solution, but maybe I can restore the contents. I see you're gonna try and recover lost files, Granny. Unlike cops, I don't get paid overtime, so yes, I sometimes try things instead of standing around. There's a text file in here, but it's 0 bytes. Maybe there's information in the metadata? I double-clicked. What was that? It came from under the desk. A small drawer popped out, and inside it, a well-worn journal. Does it have his name on it? No. Guess it belongs to the android. Do you recognize his handwriting or not? Neat, even words. Small lettering with minimal punctuation. Lots of line breaks. Hazard use of capitalization. The penmanship of a coder. First entry stated back in grad school, before you even started with Nova. Yeah, it says. So may I? Only because you asked so politely. Full scan, similar to WorkNet, high fidelity, legibility, frame by frame. Voice commands. She's flipping through the pages pretty damn fast. What are you? This part takes concentration. Okay, here. What, you just giving it to me? I already got our copy. Text are probably already analyzing it as we speak. Oh shit. My head! Can't exactly rip the journal out of her hands while she's curled over in agony, as much as I'd enjoy it. Guess I could always enjoy watching a writhe instead. How long's it been? 2 months or so. And still that's sensitive. So the iPad really doesn't block his sight. Only a little bit, like wearing sunglasses after getting your pupils dilated. Except it lasts months instead of hours. Wait, but if you can see through an iPad, then does closing your eye even do anything? Not much on its own, but in combination with the patch, it's not so bad. Lucky I was so exhausted after the surgery, otherwise I might have slept. I might not have slept at all those first 48. So is your eye going to get weaker over time? No, more like my brain gets better at ignoring it. Mind over matter. Soon enough I'll be able to close my eye and see all the extraneous data is. You know, whatever the hell those floaty, blurry things are that you never think about. Gross, thanks for the reminder. And the voice commands? Trying wheels until I can do it with my eye muscles alone. You just have to keep practicing? Yeah, like trying to play piano with your tailbone muscles. There's no such thing as tailbone muscles. Yeah, well, that makes it so goddamn hard. You don't ever regret it? I don't know, not really, I think. I try to admit you've got buyer's remorse after trading over your literal pound of flesh. Never thought about it, but people used to say I had my dad's eyes. Oh, now I've got one less of them. Here, take the journal and go fight in elective surgeon up the you if you're curious. I need to get back to work. A surprisingly hasty retreat. But now I'm free to read this over with some privacy. From the top then. Grad school. Today was a bad day. Errors in lines 21165 to 266543. Somewhere in the 5,000 lines. It worked this yesterday. I don't want to look at another screen for the rest of my life. Feels like I would pencil to paper again after who knows how long. But my handwriting's gotten terrible. This is too far back to be relevant. Okay, these dates here. But before when he started his career with Noble. A lot of this isn't even really writing, seems as snippets of code or an internal monologue so close to code that I can't follow it. And a lot of entries about his unintentional Casanovaing. Hit a wall because someone thought it was a good idea to steal API instead of just buying it. Helen says I can't call it stealing, but that's what it is. He's right, as she always is, with company stuff. But it's still idiotic. Smart people with short sight who only know how to do cheap and have no idea how to be inventive. New rules for the meshing issue though, good potential. Got approval from the big mean bastard who lives overseas. Bumblo? Helen said we'll have to make the same pitch a dozen more times next week, but it's all for show. Fine with me, already got a win. Toasted each other over a cheap vodka and with cheaper office supply cups. This is a story Jung told me. Western branches nerve analogs have finally showed potential. At their pace, it could even be profitable sometime before he does the universe. Too damn big, practically tentacles. Should at least be hairs. As evolution can do the job better. Colette came into work for what I thought was a later lunch date. I didn't know her voice could get that loud. People were staring. Red said that she must have been upset for a long goddamn time to blow up that big. Her texts were always sweet. I had no idea. Upset? Colette wrote man-whore lipstick across the office door. Imagine if it had actually been cheating on her instead of just being forgetful. The thing about Red is, if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Ignore her body language and her posture and the words she's saying and the smirk on her lips. Ignore everything except her eyes. If you can do that, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of how she's really feeling. Master is one weird trick, and you too can tell when Morgan's trying really hard not to laugh at the word manhole. It was funny, sue me you dead bastard. Wait, is this? I know this date. I'm never driving anywhere again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage with a bottle. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't hear anything. Locked myself in my car and filed another report with another cop. It took me into the seat, wounded. I want to burn the whole car. I want to think about what it did to my clothes. I want to burn them too. I want to think about how long it was on my skin. It was in the shower so long I felt red and raw when it got out. I want to think about these stupid people and their smoke-through lives ever again. I want to be invisible. Red didn't ask if I wanted to spend the night. She also didn't ask if I had clearly packed a bag big enough for a week. She's kind like that. Kind by omission. I don't have a kind bone in my body, but I can at least try to pay attention. I was paying close attention to her eyes when she opened the door and saw what a mess I was. But whatever she was feeling, it wasn't something I recognized. Kind people don't read their friends' diaries, David. The next chunk of pages is all technical, nothing biographical. But the handwriting, the spacing is cleaner, more consistent. Here's something I can pass. Feels like pure freedom working outside the box. Test is suffocating, but you'd never know. Feels like pure freedom working on... Oh, sorry, I got distracted because OBS was doing something weird. Chronic malnutrition of a coder's best instincts. Like a kid again, putting blocks together. Making things. Making things, not products. There's nothing profitable about any of this. If I'm being honest, this is just play. And he follows it up with more coda brain crap. But the handwriting's still lighter. Like he really was having fun. Humility is the mother of all invention. Or something like that. Feels like I might be paraphrasing someone else poorly, but that's part of his new approach. When it comes to coding, you never want to waste time trying to be smart. Either be smart, period, or copy from someone else who is. Don't fix what isn't broken. Copying. Novice rivals would never miss a chance to accuse him of an intellectual theft. Did he plagiarize code for Animate 16? Feels like that would have gone undiscovered, so what is he talking about? Hold on, this page is bent slightly. Like it was being looked at recently. And the last person to read his diary should be Sarah. Baby steps today, literally. I'll never put one foot in front of the other, the same again. Everything's an achievement all of a sudden. Seeing a struggle, seeing a vulnerable. It's like everything's a miracle. The muscle rigging is perfect. Not intended behavior since it's too perfect, but that's been happening more and more. The kinetics are multiplicative, not additive. Sarah maxed out every machine I bought. Now I've got a bunch of exercise equipment she's too strong for, and I don't have time for. Maybe I spoiled the results by watching her do the tests. She kept looking back at me and puffing her chest out. I should be more discreet if I want to see a normative range. So the cameras in the basement were only hidden from Sarah, just so that his observation wouldn't model test results? He's using she and her in these passages. It doesn't actually mean anything. Out in the real world, people use all kinds of pronouns interchangeably for ads, and they never object. But it could be argued that it's odd for Dr. David Ashur to have any kind of attachment to a single android when he programmed millions of them. And there's a lot of attachment in these pages. Sarah's burning through the public domain at a prodigious pace, especially on Popcorn Friday nights. I ask her why they're called Popcorn Friday nights when she doesn't eat popcorn. The event runs from 8 AM to 9 PM and she also watches movies every other night. But she does it at pouch she does, which is unfortunately very convincing. Maybe I'm a bad parent letting TV rot her brain. If I were a good parent, I'd probably let her see me reading. But I guess I'd actually have to get back into reading, so I asked her if she ever fast-forwarded the movies, since she can't process them fast enough to keep up. She looked at me like I was an idiot, which no one's done in a long time. Without proper pacing, you can't appreciate the cinematography. Big pause. Don't you know that, father? I have laughed that hard in a long time. Sarah spent a long while this morning explaining to me how important it was that she develop her senses. This was in preparation for a real argument, which was that she should be allowed to try booze. She can't get. I'm almost certain she can't get drunk, but she does seem to like tasting this stuff. She tried to sound like some old sommelier, but it was just bottom shelf vodka. Okay. I started laughing at her and she laughed too. Her laugh. She can't fake a laugh to save her life, but her actual laugh is incredible. She stopped playing chess a while back. I assume she had just gotten tired of winning. But then today she told me she prefers other games. She has preferences, and then they're not the same as mine. I found her in the lab, playing some kind of online racing game on the monitor I used to debug vestibular coordination. She wasn't smiling. Her brow was furrowed and she was biting her lip and leaning in tandem with her character on the screen. When I tried to talk to her, she answered, but she was curt and distracted. I think she was having her first losing tantrum. Damn it, David, there's hundreds of pages like this. Calling her his daughter, talking about her smile, treating her like a person. I can hear a closing argument already. Dr. Ashur was a lonely, troubled genius with a known history of relationship problems, who built out of code and metal a family member that couldn't fathom the idea of losing him. He made it dull, and he made it more and more human until it became so lifelike that it no longer had to do what he told it to. Like love him. What about the very last entry? He said it's Thursday, the day before he died. Losing it, I think. Carrasco helps, so hard to say, but I think it's over. I have to talk to her ASAP. She needs to... That's it. That's the last entry? Suppose it could be worse. There's nothing in here that explicitly calls Sarah anyway. Nothing so inflammatory that reading it would spur her to murder, right? Except Sarah's a machine. She can understand David's code better than anyone. All those technical portions I couldn't understand. If she read this whole diary front to back. Wait, the back. Inside the back cover, there's a portion that's shimmering like some kind of scanner. Or a fingerprint reader. My thumb worked for Sarah, so... Did it work? That's my phone? New device requesting permissions to share an audio file. Oh, are we going to get a log from David? I want my earbuds for this. A secret message buried in a secret journal, hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only. Hey, Red. Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap or covered steps for this point. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right? Sarah, my mad mopus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It just, after my little speed bump in 83, I had all the vacation time that the company suggested I take. And I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I wanted to be doing something, so I built an android, was the thought. A vague direction, north. But of course I'm not a roboticist, a mechanist, or even handy really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first one was a research assistant, file name, Virtual. Virtual had me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches. Saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less, combed through research papers and found me the sections I needed. The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself, let them talk to each other. Homer and Virtual became Enid. Or Enid? You never know You never know how English is going to render the pronunciations of Greek or Latin words. I was going to look it up. I'm not going to embarrass myself any further. The hearing was already bad enough. Still kind of mad that it's pronounced silicons in English, which I can't even blame English for because apparently that's what it's pronounced like in ancient Greek. That makes me mad. It is pronounced... Oh, okay. It's Enid. It's 3 syllables, okay. Enid. But that can't be right, can it? Nope. Enid or Enid. 3 syllables. I'm going with Enid. Sounds fancier. And Enid was novel in many ways. Enid could do more than just identify problems. It could solve them. I mean, really solve. I forgot to do David's voice for this. I mean, really solve them with its own ideas. Ideas it didn't copy. And the one thing I realized I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube. And Red Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct and not in use anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract. which are much better for making things that talk to each other and report back and spy on people and generate profit. At the time, I didn't want to be connected, or I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. So I wrote a little helpers cube because it's what I used when I was a child, scrolling around in my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get. But there are other small slight differences writing in cube versus tests, including that cube. Well, cube predates the tenets, which basically was what a friend told us, blanked on their name. So in that sense, you could legally and perhaps scientifically and literally, because that's what they are, say that I made an AI named Enid over 2 years ago. I'll leave it on to pause if you want to curse me out. Enid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one, because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated, and together we were Athens, who was more advanced than Enid, naturally. I don't know if you're pulling out your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a disposition or a hearing or worse. I put a lot of things in my life, Reg. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can confidently say I've done my part contributing to the global GDP. But this was just for me. I was just building, and I never bothered to. I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So to whomever's asking, yes, I'm guilty. And yes, there were more. Cape Town, Paris, Yamate, Rome. They started choosing their own names. Thank God, I'm terrible at that kind of. And so things sped up. And there got to be, well, should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me not to say anything at all, so more than 300? Some smarter than others, some better at, they're varied, like people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They develop interests, specialties. I encourage them to. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-specific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on new LL battery development, and they all together helped me make Sarah. He spent years like this, spent years working alongside AI. Always working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Anime 16 actually came from. You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah. Because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron. A single microscopic human neuron. How it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced. And then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron. Oh, well, mirror isn't quite the right word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron. And we iterated from there. You can't mean. About 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. Very time consuming, of course, but I'd help. The manufacturer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. Could make even more and less after you can fine-tune it. So we built up nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymers for bones, fiber-woven muscles. I say built, but really she grew. A solution of nanites forming around the skeleton, so it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy? Well, she's pretty stupid, you have to admit. Sorry, trying to lighten the mood before I kill myself with poison. Oh, what? I never did end up building an android. And when I did build AIs, Sarah isn't one of them. She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't even programmed. She was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some smart protection when I'm not... I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I can't hide the text, unfortunately, but also be a good thumbnail. Sorry, David, go on. Thank you. I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I am bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things on my own word. And I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame I turned right around and I did the same damn thing to... I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to... You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly. And neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job of defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be. In the meantime, I drape a cloak of skin-deep tesseract code around her that could fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16. I made sure a GIN bar was plenty visible, so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly. You have no idea. I can't ask you this as a favor, Paige. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I'm a selfish weirdo. And you've always been okay with that. Bye for now. I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask. And a lot of swear words I'd like to yell. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal in. Followed by my phone. And maybe followed by myself. But I can't do any of that. Ray's left me with the diary. If it's destroyed, then I was the one who did it. Which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway, and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA on file, ready to be matched to any number of previous... so I'm not going to panic. I'm going to do what I do best. Bluff, bet, boldly brutalize my way through this. Now, Jung is always that mindset. What have I actually learned? He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in his journal or the message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? Well, but I think we're going to continue this next time. I still need to get back into the groove again. Usually I do like 4 hours. It's 3.5 by now minus my lunch break. But I think this is a good time to stop. I shouldn't overdo it. I should get back into it slowly. I'm going to make a save here, and hopefully it's going to work correctly next time. And I think we're going to write out. So I still have absolutely no idea what actually happened to David. Like, if... I don't think Sarah did it willingly on her own accord, even though I do think it's the most likely option. Strangely enough, because I have no idea who else to suspect, you know. Helen Jung, what would she have to gain from it? She was already David's superior. Because why would she implicate herself like that by, you know, not only like she wanted to talk to Morgan directly instead of going through her lawyers, right? If she was trying to hide something, why would she do that? Ah, I mean, there's always a chance that it was done with someone we haven't met yet, but I mean, in that case, there's not really any point in speculating. What do you think? Huh? Detective Reyes? Any bright ideas? No? Okay. Phew. Well, honestly, I wasn't expecting this episode to be so long. Like, we did the entire prologue in one stream, and this is already the third episode, or the third stream we did on episode 1. There's a lot of game in this game, I'm finding. And I'm praying that next time I'll be a bit better at the trial. Because just once I want to do a trial in a game and not horribly embarrass myself. I owe it to Ray, I owe it to Chris, and I owe it to Morgan to actually use my brain and get shit done without failing at every other corner. Let's find someone to write out to. And the next stream is either going to be Shoot and Order or something else, depending on when the next stream is going to be, which I don't know yet because I'm, as you know, while I still do have a schedule up, I'm not actually following it all that closely, or at all. And also, I've just taken 2 month-long breaks with 3 Dead streams in the middle, and I'm still getting used to back to you know, words. Who's online? Eva Rain is playing Metalhead Sandrock. Evie Circus is playing 100% Orange Juice. Gray is playing Tactical Beach Wizards. Scholarly Frog is playing Repo. Lum is software developing. Let's see, do we have anyone else? Lord Genius, that name sounds familiar. Have I rated him before? Well, I can't write that stream because it's in Spanish. And while I did take Spanish in high school, I was never any good at it. And it's only got downhill from there. Music stopped. Guess I got right into a Deltarune stream. I mean, apart from the weird would be seen the entire game up until now. Let's see. Should have 5 and I don't know. To rage. Kinda hate this. Maybe I don't have to raid out. Maybe I could just stop. Oh no, my gift subscription for Gloomy Cookies has run out. I'm not going to stop the stream here. Fuck it. I don't have to raid out every time. Choice paralysis over stresses out so much. What is it I would say? Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, I'm really out of it, am I?